Now is your time to flex.
What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. This podcast, of course, is being brought to you by the motivators at Fledgeology, where the mantra is leap, grow, fly. And today we're going to be getting into your life soundtrack and the influences of those external voices. But before we get into all that, I definitely got to introduce the team who's on the call today. Of course, we got the Q's, Mike D.
Hello.
We got Faison and guest appearance Namdi. Let me see if Namdi gonna speak up. Easy.
Hello, world. Special guest appearance. I promise you guys that Namdi will be here, and he is here today.
In rare
answering
form.
Questions at the end.
Ready to go.
Kidding.
Back on the podcast. He took a little hiatus from us, but fresh by popular demand. El Freshadente is back with us on the 13th floor. What's happening?
Always behind the wheels and always ready to get it in. Greetings and salutations from the 13th realm, baby. Let's go.
Where you been at, man? What's been going on?
Man, life's been going on. As most know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So, I've been out there in the battlefield with my team, having to make sure we are getting ourselves on the right track to make sure 2017 is going to be good and prosperous and lead our way to a very even more successful 2018.
Good stuff. We're glad to have you back on the show, man. It hasn't been the same without you. And of course,
definitely feel the love.
And of course, last but not least, the prolific one, Carol. What's happening?
Felicidades y salutaciones a todos. Bueno,
Wow.
sí.
Yeah.
Hi, papi.
All of that. What did you even
Hey,
say,
man.
man?
I said greetings and salutations. Hey, man, look, I'm trying to drive our listener audience, man. The Hispanic population is huge, man. Anybody we can reel in, I'm trying to get them. So
I know that's right. And everybody needs inspiration, motivation.
that's right. You know how many people turned up just because I did that?
Yes, sir.
Especially down south, man. That's crazy. Hey, you said that. It rolled off the tongue quite well. So you're fluent in Spanish, I think.
Yes, I am fluent, sir.
Any other
Would you like me to do the rest? Would you like me to do the rest of the podcast in Spanish?
Yeah, do the whole podcast in Spanish.
That'd be
We're gonna have the what you call it, the captions at the bottom
Exactly.
on the
Put the
YouTube.
captions out there.
We'll have the closed captions.
Hey man, so it's a lot going on. We talked about March Madness last week, and it looks like Mike D is the only one whose bracket survived. I guess he really the only one that had a bracket anyway. But Gonzaga made it.
Right. We hopeful. The rest of the bracket is garbage. The same with the women's one. Who'd have thought UConn would have lost? So I didn't even fill out one on that side. I just
11-game streak.
right and lose by one in overtime. Like I didn't put anything on there. I just put them as the champion and then kept moving on that bracket. But it's been interesting. Like anybody that says they got a perfect bracket for the men's side, you don't know basketball. Because things just came out of nowhere that there's no way you could have predicted Xavier gets as far as they get, like Kansas, Kentucky, Villanova, all of them lose at the times that they lose. Like, you can sense that they're going to lose, but for certain teams to lose when they did and to the people that they did, that's just luck. It literally
That's why the
is.
NCAA is great basketball.
Yep. Yeah, you literally
You never know, shawty.
You gotta watch every game, and that's kind of something that I know people that do brackets. They start watching NCAA basketball like in October and November, which is why they can predict the upset of the smaller schools. Because with networking, they show the smaller schools earlier in the year. So they'll give you a preview of who they think is going to be good. Like when ESPN start talking about like the marathons and the college basketball things that happen around Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're showing you who they think is going to be in the tournament. But once it starts to get to January and February, they go to the big tournament in the league so that way they can make their money. So you forget about them. Like for them to pick Middle Tennessee State, like they're good. People are like, I ain't seen Middle Tennessee. Who is Middle Tennessee State? And they come out there and they got guys that are balling.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you gotta watch. And then even in the tournament, you gotta watch it because styles are different, which is why I picked Gonzaga, because they still got that big dude. Like nobody has a solution for Karnowski. Nobody. You can do whatever scheme you want. That dude is 7 feet, 300 pounds. You're not moving him. He's Shaq size. He's just bigger than everybody. There's no way you can. That's why I picked them. And they're there. So we'll see. Let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
I'm still stuck on UConn's girls losing. I had no idea. That like blew my mind.
Hey, you watched that shot was crazy. Like that whole, just the way it transpired at the end, it was like they were defeated before that shot even went up.
Yeah, right. And that girl's little too. She's like 5'2".
I was just about to say, and that takes, you talk about Gonzaga and their big dude, but what about Mississippi State and their big heart? Like, that's heart.
Right. That's all it is.
1,000%.
You just trying to compete, and you realize that you're competing long enough that you actually have a chance. And then when that moment comes, boom, ready, done.
Say la vie, seize the day. Opportunity you get, don't just stop. Be happy that you get there, win it. I mean, you're there. Why not?
Yep.
So who y'all got on the men's side taking it home? Because it's Gonzaga in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't see the end game, but I said I'm a little nervous now because that's some big dudes. So they can handle Karnowski. I'm a little nervous. They just as athletic and just as big, and they kind of been here before. So on that game, it depends on the guards. So both teams' guards got sprained ankles. So whoever can heal the fastest between yesterday and tomorrow, that's the team that's gonna win. Cause it's not gonna hurt during the game. It's gonna hurt today, and it's gonna hurt tomorrow morning. So it's all on the trainers. Whoever can get the ice and the electric stuff in there and the massaging, that's who's gonna be the one that's gonna play.
But again, it goes to show where, all right, you got the players, but what does the rest of the team surrounding them look like? Because that's what's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the quality of their training staff. And was somebody thinking about that before the season even started? Man, I need to make sure I got the best people on this training staff possible to give us the best chance to win the title in the end.
Yep. So that's where the system and the pieces come together, man. So we gonna see.
That one I had to go with North Carolina on that one. They got more money.
They got more money.
Dang it.
But Gonzaga, like everybody been talking about this is their first time in the Final Four or the championship.
Right.
But they've always been like a major player for as long as I've been watching college basketball. So it's surprising to me that this is their first time actually in the ship.
Yeah.
That's how it goes down.
It was a good round while it lasted.
Hey man, listen, I'm gonna go with the underdog Gonzaga and see what happens, man. It's all gonna come down to, you know, who has the better coaching game, who has the better impact, who has the better external voice that's gonna affect their players. That's what's gonna come down to.
That makes sense. Hey, Art, we're gonna go to you, man, because the excitement around Iron Fist, you know, a couple weeks or last week. I need to know how was the series?
Oh, okay. How do I do this without being rude? Let's start there. I think that it was a good series. I think they were trying to do too much to lead up to Defenders, which is the next, the mashup with all the Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. But it could have been 8 episodes. And I was talking to Kay offline, and we were just chit-chatting about the series. And I was like, if you watch first 8 episodes of it, you're like, man, this thing's fire. It's great. It's moving really good. And then the last 5, you're just like,
this got weird.
It can end.
Yeah.
Every episode was like, you could.
And the acting seemed like they felt like, why are we doing these extra scenes? Like it's just like you said. Literally the first 8 you are like fired up and like, wow, this is gonna be crazy once everybody gets together. But then by the time about the 8th, 9th episode, some crazier stuff starts going on. You're just like, whoa, wait, come on, man.
Exactly.
Is it really all of this is necessary? Like they're trying to catch up with all the Daredevil and
exactly. They're trying to put it together. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And it's crazy because again, like you can tell, okay, halfway through filming this, they were just like so geeked about Defenders that they lost focus. on Iron Fist. And it was like, hey, what about this moment right now? Focus on this moment right now. Make this moment the best possible, but you're looking forward. So you lose your focus, you lose your momentum. And I even saw an interview with the guy that played Iron Fist, and he said, some of those fight scenes you saw, I literally learned what was going to happen like 15 minutes before we actually filmed it.
Wow.
And you could see it. You could see it because the fight scenes were terrible, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got fired for saying that, and like he doesn't even actually end up
all of a sudden now
being in the actual Defenders movie. But man, hopefully if they do keep him, hopefully they are working on him now. And I think they've already started shooting. They've already started filming, so it might be too late. But man,
I feel like the like I said, his acting like around episode 8 just all of a sudden got real like C-movie D-list, like it just all of a sudden turned just so bad at the end of the day. It was just like, what is going on? What happened to Iron Fist?
Well, and the thing that they got me the most, and I'll let you move on, Brett, from this point. But no, they showed everybody how they got their powers. So Daredevil they showed his, Jessica Jones, they showed hers, they showed Luke Cage's. They didn't show the dragon. The most important part of Luke Cage is him punching through the dragon's heart and taking the power of the Iron Fist. Don't show me some eyes and then cutscene his fist growing. That's not how it should work. Like, go and get me. You got 13 episodes. You can at least make 30 minutes.
I need the real.
I need at least 15 minutes of a dragon fight and a heart fight.
I'm trying to save that for season 2. Now you done mess it up for everybody who don't read comic books.
I hope so. But if you don't know that by now, then you watching the wrong comic book.
You already was watching messed up.
But listen, so let's be real. So this guy, Netflix has made a living and they are becoming relevant off of finding these not quite A-list actors. They'll probably turn into A-list actors after their Netflix series. But this guy, I think he came from Game of Thrones, I think.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I watched Game of Thrones now, so now I'm interested.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, he's on Game of Thrones, and I don't know if they gambled that he was gonna have some big transfer over from it, but like you just see Brett was just like, really? Like he's a Game of Thrones watcher, didn't even know. So, but what's funny is that even though we say this, Iron Fist was still Netflix's most binged drama premiere.
Of course.
That's
They're
because
waiting
they
for
led up
Defender.
to it. They did it right, and I'm thinking
the
marketing
last-
around it.
the last
You got all of the comic book fans. They've been doing Daredevil, Jessica Jones. You had Luke Cage. So, and I've heard great things about all of those shows. So this is the first, like real, I guess, semi-positive review or I guess negative review of any of those comic books. So, everybody expected it, and in the comic book world, it's huge. So I can see that.
Defenders is only going to be 8 episodes, so it's going to be 8 fire episodes. I'm not sure how they're going to do that with all the scenes, but I'm excited it's only 8, even though they should have made that 13 and made Iron Fist 8. So,
I was gonna say, man,
but it is what it is.
You got so many storylines coming in together. 8 episodes just doesn't sound like enough, but I don't know. I guess we'll leave that there.
Straight up.
So going into the life soundtrack and those external voices as you spoke about, man, before we start like the soundtrack portion, when we came up with the idea, I thought it was interesting to find out if you had a life soundtrack, right? Or you had some theme music playing behind you, what it would be.
Man, look, people can't see it, but I got it right here in my phone. I keep a list of my theme music of my life soundtrack. So I'm about to age check you now, Brett. Here it comes. I'm warning you in advance. I got "Rising to the Top" by Kenny Burke.
Nope.
You know that song. You know that "Keep Rising to the Top."
Before we even get into that, like, and this
Give me all you got. Give me all you got.
I don't
There you
know
go.
old music by name like that. Like you said, I probably would know it if I heard it, but I'm not the old soul. Now, Chris, my lady, she'll probably know every song that you about to name right now. But I'm a fail.
Yeah, well, I got to age check you. I knew you had no chance, but I figured, maybe you surprise us. I got "Getaway" by Bobby Brown. No.
Wow.
Nope.
You don't know that song either, Brett? That's terrible. I got Breakaway by Wiz.
This is a breakaway.
Yep.
All that.
Yep. I got Wake Up Everybody by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
You know that. Wake up,
everybody.
I would know it by name. I don't know it by name.
Yep. I got The Feeling, James Brown.
I got that feeling.
Yeah.
I got that feeling, baby.
Yep.
Mike rolled up.
Mike by
Mike,
throw
right.
up now.
That's Mike's soundtrack too.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm talking about.
Super Bad by James Brown as well.
Yeah.
How You Like Me Now, Kumo D.
Yeah.
Survival of the Fittest, Mobb Deep.
Yeah.
Public Enemy, Fight the Power.
Of course.
Right.
Soundtrack. I think that's a Spike Lee movie, Carol.
It's a Spike. Hey, that's a Spike Lee joint. That's a Spike Lee joint.
Right. I'm sorry.
I got,
My apologies.
What else I got? I got Eminem, Not Afraid.
I'm not afraid. Yo.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a whole bunch more, man. But yeah, like I actually literally have a note section in my phone where when I hear a song that I think should be on my life soundtrack, I put it on there.
The crazy part about that, look, when my grandmother died, I went and bought a house, and I got my grandfather's records. So I actually have those James Brown songs on 45s when they first came out.
Woo!
I got that. I got original Otis Redding album, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Temptation, like stuff I hadn't even heard of. I have at least maybe 150 to 245s. I got 8 tracks. I made a whole stack of people I hadn't heard. I just asked my mom, like, can you please tell me who these people are? She's like, oh, that's it, baby, and that one. And it was for my mom's 75th birthday party. I took all of them. My wife had given me the record player where you can download it to the computer, and I just downloaded everything.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a hit.
Authentic sound. That authentic crackling on the background.
Hey,
I want my computer back.
I don't mean for us to get off topic here, but shoot, man, you can go anywhere now and buy vinyl again now. You can go to Best Buy, they got vinyl.
Now.
Yep.
The revival is real.
Yep, vinyl is on its way back.
So
I
Faison,
think
what
that's
you got?
really, really dope.
Man, we always know that I like a revolving playlist in my head, so I'm not as skilled or prepared enough with Carol to have a list of life. But my current soundtrack is going to be the Jidenna album. That's I play that nonstop in my head. So and the song that I would say that I'm living right now is 2 Points.
2 points.
Oh, my 2 points back. Yep. So that's where I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. And those who listen to Jidenna or want to, when you hear that song, you know that's my energy. That's my flow. That's my spirit.
That's his Nigerian warrior. I think I have more of a 70s funk soundtrack that's always kind of playing in the background of my head. I'm definitely more of a old soul in that sense. Even though I love hip hop and R&B and all that good stuff, I'll definitely have a mean bass, a dude on a guitar, and a drummer back there just getting it. And then the horn section comes in every once in a while when things is really popping.
That dude said he got some Curtis Mayfield on his sound.
Exactly.
And so what you have in
Just
the 70s,
right.
you know what I'm saying, like going with that, I guess, era, that funk era, how is that impactful on you? Because that's really what we want to get into, like the soundtrack and how it plays a major role in your life.
Yeah, I think that especially that era, like funk music was such a breakout and expression that, similar to me, I try to be authentic to myself and try to break down a lot of barriers as far as having people feel somebody, who looks like me or listens to music that I do may not be able to achieve or accomplish the things that are set in front of them. And so I definitely enjoy being that person that can change somebody's mindset and understanding of other people like me at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think when you talk about funk, and obviously I have some of that in my soundtrack, but it's hey, you might not like this because of the way that the drum hits or whatever it is, but this is what I felt, this is what I represented, and you don't have to like it. But for me, it's fire, it's funky, and this is what it is. This is how I'm gonna be, and it's a statement. You know what I mean? It's that unapologetic statement that this is what it's gonna be, and if it doesn't make you groove, it doesn't make you move, that's all right, Smooth.
It's more if you're not feeling the energy in what I'm bringing to the table, it's more of a there's something wrong with you. It's not that there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can I add? I want to backtrack on mine. Don't get me wrong. I am loving dinner, so that's my soundtrack right now. But a couple of days ago, I was in the shower actually, and that revolving jukebox popped in again. And this might be a little too old for you, Brett. But that sound, that self, I know.
What's up with all the jazz, man?
That self-destruction track that came out.
Yeah, with all the rappers, that was late 80s. Had like every superstar rapper. Nobody brave even knows.
I can still recite that whole song. I can recite it from beginning to end and literally put my life in each of those situations where it was, except for the jail one. I didn't do that one. But
self-destruction. You're heading for self-destruction.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Yeah, man. See, y'all just got to give me some like lyrical or musical reference, and I'll be right there with you.
You need a couple bars. You just need a couple bars. That's how it goes down.
Let's, if we're gonna.
Okay, guys, we're press ready to party. Money in your pocket. There you go. You ready? Okay, you guys ready to press ready to party.
Some more modern
money in your
stuff,
pocket,
man.
diamonds in your body. To get inside, to pay the whole $10. Got chased with a razor blade, taped to the cow. Either guns in the crack and the knives alone. MC lights on the microphone. I'm rushing. There you go. I'll leave it there.
Baseline just dropped the mic on y'all. He just dropped the mic on y'all.
Hey, so let me ask y'all a question. Which one wins out? Self-destruction, or we're all in the same gang?
Self-destruction.
Self-destruction, hands down.
Yeah, self-destruction. That hook, like that hook got you. You was just like that. That was a beautiful chant.
Oh,
Self-destruction got the it's got the KRS-One feel to it with the self-destruction.
Right? Yeah.
Like, they was serious about we are all in the same gang. That was more kind of We Are the World-ish. That was it was nice.
Yeah.
But it was self-destruction.
Right. I think my favorite. I don't know. I have a couple favorite parts of Self-Destruction, but that Dougie Fresh breakdown, they took the moment of silence. Man, that was fire.
Yeah, man. So when y'all ready to talk about some Future or J. Cole,
see, it's different.
Future is not going to ever make the list. He would never ever make the greatest.
Right.
He would not.
I can play a couple of songs that it may not fit exactly into your, I guess, soundtrack, quote unquote. But if you can listen to Self-Destruction and they talking about the guns and the violence and going to jail, then you could probably listen to some of Future. Like I could play Mask Off, and the beat alone will probably be what keeps you, engaged to the music. And that's just just how.
But you know what? You just said what the major difference is.
Exactly. That's what we hear from Future.
I mean, if you open your ears, you can hear it.
You ain't got it. It's different.
If you open your ears, here's the major difference. Self-Destruction, you could play the acapella. Exactly. And it will still move you. It'll still impact you.
Right.
Nah, it's on.
You know what I mean?
Songs like
And it was different. It was like that generation wasn't talking to your ears. They was trying to get you to open your third eye. So they was trying to get you to think. They was trying to get you to go deeper into your life circumstance. Like we delivering a message. It wasn't about the beat. It wasn't about having a different style. Like they wanted to make sure you understood the words. And the people that you didn't listen to, you would listen to their words like that's garbage. And then you would just not even play them. Like they would come out, they would make a 45, they make one song, your music is garbage and you gone. That's why KRS-One, Run DMC, Nas, Grandmaster Flash, nothing like Africa Bambaataa, all of that is the words, because at that time the sound wasn't that. Like it wasn't everybody rapped over the same beat. Yeah, it was all about the words and all about how you were connected to people to get them to understand. And they was,
Well, I was gonna say most of their beats were so basic. It was just about that drum and that bass and that kick, that 808 and that kick.
Yep.
That mostly everything was that same thing. That it was the words were what made you stand out. They were gonna sit there and in the master ceremonies, the MC, how it originated was being able to help the DJ and move the crowd.
Right.
And it wasn't about this. So you had to say something important that people were going to understand and feel motivated with in order to go ahead and get the party started.
It used to be
like
it used to be the music complemented the lyrics.
Yep.
Now the music compensates for the lyrics.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
But all right, so a better example. When we talk about a true to life soundtrack, For Your Eyes Only. Y'all, anybody listen to that? For Your Eyes Only. That's the most recent J. Cole album. That
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff.
He
J. Cole's
basically told a life story through that whole thing. So there you have the instance of the lyrics actually telling the story of being more important than just the music behind it, but the music alongside it.
That's J. Cole's hat tip to the days of old. Just like Kendrick Lamar's last album,
Right.
where that's more of them recognizing that that's how it was back in the day, the importance. And you listen to older albums, you listen to those Wu-Tang and those Outkast albums where back in our time, you'd get that CD, put that thing in, and it was like a movie would go off because there were skits involved in albums. There was, it was a whole production as opposed to just, oh man, I got 12 songs I did over the last, 2 weeks on tour. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out as an album.
Yeah, it's like if you think about Redman, like every Redman album, he had something about Superman Lover that was on it. So, and it started from the beginning and it went to the end. I mean, he's like, I'm taking you to the dungeon.
That music.
Right, and he would just rock. And then it would be to a point where once it got to the end, you just let it continue because it was like, he's going to start, and it just all meshed together. It was only like you on a road trip, and before you know it, you done listened to the album 6 times.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop something else in, and then that thing was just roll. It was, Slick Rick's children's story. That was the police and crime and all that, from the crackhead to the, what? That's all lyrics. All lyrics.
Yeah, all lyrics, but what's funny about it is that the things you guys are talking about, as you're talking about it, it's taking you back through your life, and you can probably put events and things with it, and to some degree, this influenced you. So I know we're talking about rap, but let's take it to a whole nother genre. Let's take it to reggae, right? And let's talk about some Bob Marley.
Oh man.
Talk about stuff that just resonates with your life and probably impacted what people were doing.
Right. Bob was just
shot the sheriff.
This is an icon, man, and everything.
Shoot the deputy.
I think everything in his music was just so genuine, and it spoke to you on so many different levels. But everything, he was such a common man. Like, he was so big, but he never lost like that common touch. Like, he never got away from what was really most important, like his family. I remember him doing an interview, and the dude talked to him and was asking about, his riches and his wealth, and he was like, look around me. I have my family, I have my health, I have my kids, I'm making this music. Like, that's wealth to me, not the money and everything. So just Bob on a whole, the way he spoke to people, and just how timeless his music is now. Like, you can't go anywhere and find somebody that doesn't like Bob Marley. That just won't happen.
That's what happens when you're authentic and authentic past worrying about the the facades that are right in front of you, the gold chains and the, I got to get, money and have a big plane. Like, he was authentic to, feelings, passion, and daily things that you do, that emotions that everybody feels, as opposed to going into the materialistic things and singing about, great cars and spending money. Let me really do music that is related to by everyone. And that's why it's so timeless.
Right. He was really for the people. And look at the strength of who he was. We talk about other things, and Brett has no idea. Bob Marley is long before Brett, and man, he jumped in like he came alive. Oh man, Bob, yeah, da da da. He just started rattling off. And that's when you really know that something that you are exposed to is impactful when it transcends generations. So you could almost say that Bob was the biggest artist before Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then, I mean, just think about it, man. When your song starts out with emancipate yourself from mental slavery, it's like, oh shoot, wait a minute. Let me stop and listen.
Wow.
Yep. I would even say that if there is no Bob, there is no Mike. Because Mike started getting more conscious as he got older and started to make his own music. And he, in some respects, started to sound a lot like what you just said about Bob's opening lyrics. Like, it would get to a point where he was using the music to make a political point about things that were going on in the world. It wasn't just about me and my block and my city and where I'm from. This is things that are going on throughout the world that affect humanity. It's hunger, it's injustices, it's inequality. It's affecting me, but I understand my point and how I'm connected to the world.
History Volume 1. The second disc in the album is all political.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
And I think we hit on two key points there, man. The first one was the authenticity from Fresh. The authenticity of this music, these soundtracks, that's playing around you is very important because you're true to self. Not only the authenticity, but the maturity or the maturation that happens. So how you said Mike with Michael Jackson, he started out talking about Dirty Diana, and then it just ended up happening. He went into We Are the World, so. But all throughout his life, those experiences, the music, like him listening to the Bob Marleys or his experience, all of that played a role in getting him to the We Are the World point and trying to save the world and heal the people and be for the people, and his political agenda to help the society of the world.
Yeah, and think about it. When did these people, and not just singing artists, but actors or athletes for that matter, when do you all of a sudden see them getting slandered and they're experiencing hardship imposed by government or some outside force? It's when they put out something that connects to the people and that they know breaks the regular cycle. Like, let's talk about Colin Kaepernick. Right? Look at this dude. This dude, all of a sudden, he has a peaceful demonstration that's in opposition of things that are going on, and now this man can't even get on the NFL team.
So great example, because Colin definitely took a stand when not a lot of people, when it just wasn't as popular to do so, especially in the league. Man, you don't have a whole lot of vocal at the time. I guess you didn't have a whole lot of vocal athletes. The Muhammad Ali's of today, like, who are they?
They're gone. They're gone. Exactly.
So when you have a Colin Kaepernick stand up and be like, no, the injustice in the world is too much. It's not fair. We need to do something about it. Make a stand. That's amazing. And yes, the establishment does turn their back on you, but that's not why that dude can't get a job. He can't play football. Like he's just not a good quarterback.
Shout out to the bro.
Hey, listen.
Hey, they could get that. He gonna end up getting about $2 million just to sit on somebody's bench.
But listen, he can't do that right now.
Not going nowhere. He's not.
He's not going anywhere. Nobody wants to.
And they're about to literally. Johnny Manziel is about to possibly get back into the league on Saints. They're looking at him right now as a possible option, and it's really sad that you can have Johnny Manziel be an option in that Colin can't even be in the conversation anymore, simply because he made and at the end of the day it's so crazy that such a peaceful and silent in a sense way to bring points to a really bad topic that is in the forefront of America all the time, that it was something so small and minute that the amount of publicity and then backlash that it got is very interesting to watch how it unfolded, everything that happened. But it shows that when no matter how you try to bring up that sore spot, no matter how it's done, there's always backlash and try to act like you were so out of tone for bringing any type of light to that to racism in America.
Yeah, and I just think, look, in his situation, I don't think that he can't play football. And I think I would take him before I take Johnny Manziel. But his skill does not outweigh his message.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And watch how I draw this for you. So when LeBron, D Wade, and the Heat decided that, oh, we're going to put on our hoodies in support of Trayvon Martin, there was no fallout. Nobody said anything. When LeBron, D Wade, and Carmelo got on the stage at the ESPYs dressed in all black and made their statement in reference to the same stuff that Colin was making a statement to, there was no fallout. But that's because their skill outweighed their message. So it was okay. We're not going to jump on these guys.
I think, but there's a little bit of a difference there, because if you look at it, Colin, he to some people he disrespected the flag, but you have D Wade, LeBron, them, they just speaking out on certain social injustices. So it may not impact certain people in the same way as somebody basically quote unquote disrespecting the flag or America.
But I think that argument stops when the first interviews were and people said, "Hey, are you disrespecting the flag?" No, I'm not. This is what I'm doing it for. This is what it is. Exactly. And why does the conversation continue to be, oh, well, it doesn't matter that you say you don't and that you have a real reason of what you're doing. I'm still just going to say that you're disrespecting the flag, and I'm gonna point it that as and make it seem like that's the only thing that you're doing. Even though every time I ask you if at all anywhere in what you're doing, that's what you're trying to represent, you let me know that is not a point at all. It's just crazily offensive.
So I was reading an article early this morning, as a matter of fact, and it actually had current U.S. soldiers that were commenting about that situation, about the Colin Kaepernick situation. And they were saying, look, this doesn't offend us at all. This makes us proud to know that we go and fight for people's ability to do exactly what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So why would we have a problem with what he's doing when he's exercising his right as an American? If he can't do that, then what are we fighting for?
What are we doing?
Right. We might as well just stop fighting these wars.
Right, and then that's where you get into people's perceptions and people's mind states. You know, some of it may be ignorance or just not wanting to consider anything other than, you know, him disrespecting the flag, because that's not what his intention was. It was never to disrespect the flag. If the flag was so great, or it doing what or the country was doing what it was supposed to do, then some of these things wouldn't happen. And I think that's the overarching message. But people's perceptions, you know, the way media kind of works and spins it, plus coupled, like you said, with his skill level not matching, you know, not matching his, I guess, influence, you know, socially, it just, you know, it's not worth the risk. You know, you got certain people owning these teams, and it's just an establishment that he's basically fighting against. I'm not going to take a risk on a guy that I don't know can play a full season or is not going to get me 3,000 yards and 24 touchdowns.
Well, let's talk. I'll just throw in there and defend the bruh. So the first season he was in the league, he was on fire. He had a coach that allowed him to do his thing and to be a running quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you got what's the horrible coach from Philly, that Coach Kelly, that went there. Chip Kelly. And just changed the entire process. And when you do that to a quarterback who's met his career has always been running, and you make him a stand-up quarterback, you can't do that. You can't change. You can't turn Michael Vick or Colin Kaepernick or
it's
even
a pocket. Yep.
Yeah, it's a pocket player. It doesn't work the way. They're not like, man, 1, 2, 3 throw isn't their style.
That's not even it though, Art, because that's not even the type of quarterback that Chip Kelly was looking for. Colin Kaepernick should have actually been. He should have been the perfect illustration of what type of quarterback Chip Kelly needed. Where they fell out is that Colin Kaepernick is not a robot, and he's not going to do something just because you told him to. And that's where Chip Kelly fell out with Philadelphia. Yeah. He was trying to treat grown men like they needed their college scholarship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Say, I make more money than you, man.
Period.
I pay your bills.
That's always been the interesting dynamic, I think, of with professional sports, is how, as you know, coaches and coaching staff, like that ability to control somebody who makes 9-10 times as much as you, if not 1,000 times as much as you, and still trying to reel them in to get them to focus and actually execute the plan that you have for the whole team.
But it comes back again to what Brett said. It's media and what they choose to cover and what makes it to the general masses. So let's take another athlete, for instance. What was my man? He's trying to make a comeback now that played for the Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
he's trying to come back.
Shut up.
This is how much TV I don't watch, man. Dang, why? I was so proud of him when he just said he just dropped the mic on the NFL.
They play for Oakland.
45.
Yeah, they play for Oakland.
What I gotta say, just a 45.
So that's his hometown team. So I'm knowing him, it ain't gonna happen. He may be trying to get some beast mode sales up.
but hey, let's talk about that. So at the end of his career, what do we know him for?
The same thing you know him for throughout his career. He wasn't any different at the end than he was when he was a rookie or a second-year player, just dogging the Saints in that playoff game. He was the same person from high school all the way up. So if you
right, but what did the media focus on? They didn't focus on the consistency.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
He don't talk.
That's
exactly.
What I'm talking about, though.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. He was the same way in the media, and I think Marshawn Lynch gets a bad rap because he's straight. Like he's not even like blue collar. He's straight laced. Like he is him unapologetically. And I think if you don't take the time to understand why he says, people asking me questions about things that don't matter. Nobody's asking me questions about the things that I do back in Oakland or in California for the city. The people that are asking me these questions, they don't care anything about me. So why should I care to answer these questions?
It's like Russell Westbrook.
That's what I wanted to get into, is that how come nobody covered the fact that this man isn't out there spending all his money on things that are unimportant? Like, he puts a lot of his money into the community, even stuff overseas. He goes into impoverished areas and he puts money into them to help
even
people
when he retired,
live.
He hadn't spent a check. He lived off of his bonus money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He put out a big the ESPN thing, did a half an hour on him, and you get to see. It was so much you saw about him that I had no idea.
That it was just
No, it was great. And I was like, wow, this is what happened. So hearing it again from you guys is kind of reminding that you don't have to always be in front of the camera to do the right thing behind the camera.
Well, and listen, what the focus of this particular podcast episode is that you really have to pick and choose what angle of the camera you choose to watch or what music you choose to listen to. All of these external things, they do affect you. You don't realize what the lingering effect in your subconscious mind is, and you don't know that. I'm sure somebody's studying that. I'm sure the people that do marketing and that type of stuff, branding, I'm sure they study this and they know what the effects are. But do we, as a general population, do we realize that how the things that we expose our kids to, the things that we expose ourselves to, how that ultimately shapes us for the future? Getting back to future. See what I just did?
Oh, wow. Brings it full circle. This guy is amazing.
Full circle. That's why we call him Coach K, baby.
Yeah. So bringing it right back to future. Look, I don't have a problem with the artists that kids listen to or the artists that, we listen to as adults. But what I do think you have to do is, before you can go out there and expose yourself to the things that add no value to your life, you have to go out there and establish a foundation and know that, hey, I invest a lot into my foundation by watching the TV programs that are going to get me where I need to be, watching the movies that are going to give me something positive, that have a message that I can now take action on, listening to the music that will always lubricate my mind and have my mind operating in a way that is going to take me to where it is that I'm trying to get to. What adds value to me? What increases my value? We talked about skill versus message. Well, how can you invest in your skill that will also increase the impact of your message? right? If you can raise the two at the same time, you become unstoppable. And that's kind of the difference between LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick. LeBron has skill that nobody can match at this point. And therefore he can now deliver a message that's pretty much, hey, somebody else can't deliver because you're going to be without a team. So how do you get to that point? What if you were to sit down for 30 days, not sit down, but everything that you listen to, everything that you watch, write down what the name of that song is or the name of that TV show, and then write down what was your takeaway message and what can you take action on. I challenge you. I bet you are not going to get anything out of Basketball Wives. You're not going to get anything out of you're not going to get anything out of Love and Hip Hop.
Well,
Bachelor, those things. And listen, those are the TV shows that are getting the most push right now. Scandal. What are you going to get out of that? When you going to get a chance to have a affair with the president?
No comment.
Right, I'm good.
And again, I'm not saying that, hey, look, from a pure entertainment standpoint, that's fine, but that should not be the larger percentage of what you expose yourself to. If you're watching a TV show that your child can't watch, what are probably the positive benefits of that TV show? Like when we were talking about Bob Marley, I can listen to Bob Marley with my son in the car. I can't listen to Future with my son in the car.
That's why they make the edited version.
But you can listen to Jadena in a car with your son.
I don't know, man. Jadena, it's a couple of joints. Jadena got a lot of hidden
messages.
He got
messages.
Yeah, so
a lot of innuendos.
Yeah.
and listen, that's a great point, because the more you expose yourself to, it doesn't have to be blatant. Right. It could be something hidden. And by the time, the more that you watch, the more that you listen, the more people that you speak to that maybe they don't have anything positive to offer. They've never had a positive day in their life. All of those things build up and they just start wearing you down. Mm-hmm. And eventually there is some type of effect. And I wish more people had the access to resources that could research these types of things and show you that stuff. We got to go out there and see what we can get, that we can just put it down there for the people to see and to learn. And maybe that'll be something that we cover in some future public appearances or some future Fledge 5 videos, something. But, I think we have to show the effects of useless information. And that's what most of it is. It's just useless information, useless content that's not going to get you anywhere.
And there it is, man. Your life soundtrack. Feed yourself good food, like that raisin bread, egg, and cheese sandwich Girl just took a nice big bite out of. Hey, Fresh, man, before we get up out of here, man, you got a new mix out, the Big Conference, yeah? Pushing that heavy.
Let's go. Exactly. My Michael Jackson reprint on the cover. That thing is bad as can be. Full of old school funk for your trunk. I'm actually going to go ahead and probably drop this week a mix I did for the Bike Week, Beach Bike Week this summer for the pre-mix. That's a very eclectic mix. I like to go ahead and consider myself an open format DJ, so you'll get a taste of everything on that one, everything from country to hip hop, from back and side to side and in between.
Easy. And where can we get that?
Oh, definitely go check my SoundCloud, Barry B. Fresh. That's where all the music is, or you could check my Facebook page. Again, search for Barry B. Fresh. The B is for Ben, because I've always been fresh. Believe that.
Hey, Fresh, when can we get that Positive Life soundtrack?
Oh, that's coming soon. You know, I'm working with a prolific orator on collabing on, generating some good tracks that are going to be able to propel your life energy and make you feel motivated and prepared to go out and do some big things. Yeah, man.
And I get in the lab, man. I got some stuff, man. We can put it down. We're gonna make it, real eclectic. A lot of,
I was gonna say, what I challenge everyone to do is please make sure to put in the comments, what your favorite inspirational or motivational song is, along with what is a song for your life soundtrack.
Yeah, and when we say in the comments, we mean like when you listen to the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. That could be SoundCloud, that could be YouTube, that could be, come on, spit them out, fellas.
Podcast Radio.
Blog Talk Radio, iTunes,
There you go, Blog Talk.
Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, all those podcasts.
Name it,
man.
we there.
We there.
Yes. So whichever one you listen to, go ahead and just drop in the comments. One, hey, how do you guys like the podcast? But two, definitely drop some songs that are on your life soundtrack that you'd like to hear in the your life soundtrack mix.
Easy. Great show, gentlemen. Appreciate y'all time. Fresh, welcome back, man. It's been a little minute, but definitely like that you came back to the show today. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can check the podcast, like we said, YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook. You can check out Fledgeology at fledgeology.com. And then any comments, requests, any feedback you have for us, you can email us at info@fledgeology.com. That's info@fledgeology.com. But that's the show. Thank you for listening here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
Believe it.
Now is your time to flex.